Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, a rising VTuber and an artist, and today we're going to be continuing the work that we started this week on page 1. Last we left off, we finished most of the background for panel 1, and most of the foreground too. Panel 1's more or less done, ain't it? That's good. I still have the Groucho glasses on. They're kind it's kind of funny how they're angled. Let me just put, hang on, I'm going to raise them up just a little bit. I think I'm a little bit bigger than usual as well on the screen, but that's fine. I think that's a fine thing to have happen. Okay, yeah. I think this works somehow. In any case, yeah, panel 1 is done. Not quite. Okay, so now I remember what I was going to do. So I was actually going to get started on page 3. And the reason for that is because if I make the gun thing artillery thingy-majig, I can actually have everything kind of if I can get this done, I can just copy and paste a small version of it here behind the very confusingly laid out scaffolding. This is the plan, all right? So yeah, that's why we're going to be working on page 3 today rather than page 2, but only a little bit. Whoop, what did I just do? Object. Oh, here we go. All right, let me just adjust the size of this so I can get it right. Yeah, you can see that I misaimed a little bit here. There we go. I guess first would probably be adjusting this bottom panel. New pickle face, that's right. Hi, bunny. Pickle face. Yes. Who is this Pablo that you speak of? I am his his handsome twin brother, Paolo. Yes. I have never met a rice bag before. All right. Jokes aside, I do like how funny the tiny Groucho glasses look on my relatively massive face. That being said, we do have work to do. Speaking of which, I have an idea for how to construct this thing. So, a while back, I was... Oh god, this Will Smith brush haunts me every single time. Here we go, the 3D object. So, a little while back, I was making a model. Hang on, let me pull up the file here. Streaming assets, streaming resources. No, none of these folders. Should be somewhere around here. Aha, here we go. So, and this is a model that I used during the Signalis streams. I designed a little pile bunker for it. And what I did to kind of make the actual thing on my arm is that I had... Okay, I think this would be right hand. Yeah, here we go. Is it here? No. Where is it? I had like this thing that I made in order to make it easier for myself to figure out how to like draw it. Oh, here it is. Right. Okay. So let me turn off every other layer here. This is a model file, so it is kind of heavy. So okay. So I basically got a bunch of primitives together and I turned them into a generic shape that I could use for to mimic the pile bunker. And that's kind of what I'm planning to do here as well. I'm going to put together some primitives, and hopefully we'll be able to make something approximating the shape here. I have an idea for how to do it too. I'm gonna need some prisms. That's right, this is always the plan. Snoop Dogg. Also, hi, Adept. Okay, let's see here. I need to shrink this down a little. Okay, and I'll also shrink down the entire thing here. So the plan itself isn't too complicated. It's just putting this thing in the right area and giving it similar proportions to what I actually want. Okay, then we get copy and paste this prism, shrink that, put it... Can we just like drag this outward? Oh, we can. All right, that will be useful. Actually, this is very close to what I wanted already. The plan worked perfectly. Perhaps too perfectly. Alright, we just shrink that by quite a bit and keep extending it. Shrink it again, raise it up. Of course, it goes without saying that I am hopelessly dependent on the prisms. For real, for real, for real. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is just gonna be my new hack from now on, just using prisms. Not even ironically, not even joking. Because the kind of structural integrity they gave to me while I was making that pile bunker was kind of insane. I may or may not be legitimately fully dependent on the... hopelessly dependent on the prism. Okay, that's not right. Okay, move this to the side. There we go. Shrink this down. Okay, then after that... Is that kind of on the right side? Yeah, I think so. Of course, the only problem... Hang on. What if I... Is it just me or did the, like, light of the color of this thing change a little bit? Well, whatever. I remember there used to be a way that you could link different 3D objects together. I think it was like a magnet button somewhere, possibly. Oh, well, it's not like we really needed something like that. We will ball regardless. Okay, so... Oh, we want to make this more rectangular rather than square as well. What if... Okay, maybe if I extend this just a little bit more on this side, we can have something for the little cannon butt here. A lot of cannons have this weird little, like, pommel at the end. I always wondered what it was for. I assume that it's just because, like, that's where you put the blasting powder and you want a little bit more something there. But if that's the case, maybe you should just, like, plate it up. You know, I don't know. What would be more dangerous? Having, like, this pommel shape that could get blasted out, or having just a plate that could go flying like some kind of wretched discus? That reminds me, there was this one incident, I believe, where... Wasn't there, like, a manhole cover that was blasted into space? Yeah, there was. Oh, but it's unfounded. Some believe a manhole cover was launched into space during a 1957 nuclear test, becoming one of the first pieces of space debris. In mid-December 2022, Snopes readers inquired about a peculiar and alleged piece of space junk, a manhole cover. One of those circular objects you probably barely noticed on the sidewalk is in orbit around Earth. Or is it? The idea of such a pedestrian human object floating among the stars has long been a point of amusement. Responding to a tweet about Vanguard 1, the second US satellite to orbit the Earth starting in 1958, astrophysicist and YouTuber Scott Manley quipped, "And it's still in space today, making it the oldest human-made object in space, assuming the nuclear-propelled manhole cover never made it that far." Okay, let's see. Okay. Alright, so apparently it just went very, very quickly. It went 6 times the escape velocity of Earth, but that doesn't mean that it escaped from Earth. Yeah, the current whereabouts of that manhole cover are unknown. It could still be out there. It just never came down. That's why it didn't go to space, but it never came down either. It's just up there. Wait, what the? Oh, that's not right. Forever sailing through the skies like some beautiful star. What the? What the? Oh, okay. I'm starting to see the. I see the pieces of this puzzle now. Okay. Wait, no. How many of these are there? That's 1, 2. What the hell? I've made so many versions of this same prism. Okay. I don't know why it's not letting me duplicate these anymore. Hang on. Maybe I can just kind of reach over and... No, that's still making just another one. Maybe it's because I've already done this one. What if I do a second one, like this one here? No, that also has the same effect. Okay. Okay, then what about... Oh, here we go, duplicate. Okay, then we just keep shrinking that. There we go. And a big sphere isn't that hard to figure out, so we don't need to add that there. What we might want to add, though, is for this cube, a few cylinders. Okay, let's make these super thin. Stretch them up and stretch them out a little bit. Put them up. Thin them out a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. All right, now we just need to... Maybe not that tall. All right, if I copy and paste this one, is it gonna give me attitude? Yes, it will. All right. We've played God too much with our prisms, and now they're angry at us. We have displeased the polygons. The solids have gone from platonic to straight up hostile. I always forget what... I know that platonic solids refer to a very specific subset of what do you call it? Of like 3D shapes, right? Like I think the cube, they look a lot like the standard D&D dice. Like there's a pyramid looking one, a cube looking one, a not spherical one, the icosahedral one. I remember that's like the easiest way for me to remember what they looked like. but I don't remember what made them like that. I think it's just that they can comfortably and snugly fit based on their own shapes. I think that was it. It occurs to me that I could also build a scaffolding in this method, but I feel like that would be also way overcomplicating what could be a very simple task. Actually, let's duplicate this sucker one last time. Flip it around. Hang on. We gotta make this parallel to the cube? Cuboid. Might be a cuboid now. We don't have a very comfortable word for what happens when a rectangle becomes a cube, because there's no way for a rectangle to become a three-dimensional shape without also using a cube, I don't think. Or a triangle in there somewhere, I don't know. I wasn't a huge geometry guy. Actually, I wasn't really into any kind of mathematics. People think that accounting is a lot of math, but that's not really true. Like, yes, there is math involved, but it's very simple math. It's more about making the math do what, following the math in a very specific process. It's like the difference between, like, baking and, wait, no, hang on. Let me think of how to phrase this. Like, you know how, like, you can measure out ingredients very easily in baking, right? Like, if you have, like, a measuring cup, a like scale, literally just about anything, you can pretty reliably measure out ingredients. But it's like the order and timing of the ingredients that actually creates a proper finished product. That's what accounting is like more than anything. It's making sure that you have the right ingredients at the right place at the right time. Because otherwise, you're doing tax fraud. All right, what the hell is wrong with this prism? I'm just gonna try and put it into position, and then figure it out from there. Yeah, okay, it was fine. Okay, let's see. It also had some buttons on the side here, but I think I can more or less jerry rig that. Alright, not you, not you, not you. Not you, not you. How do I select my prism again? See, this is definitely the downside of the prisms, is that sometimes they escape you. The prisms have their own plan now. They're playing by their own rules. Okay. I think the only thing left to do is like the actual quote-unquote stand of this thing. The prisms cannot be contained. Mm-hmm. I've displeased the prisms and now my life is forfeit. How do I select all of these at once? Oh, there we go. Okay. So the stand for this is probably going to be based on cube. All right, we can thin these out a lot to make like this kind of... It's supposed to be kind of tripod-ish, I think. I shan't lie, it's been months since since I put together the original concept art for this. Oh, that's also going to complicate things. Hang on, I need to... It's all like oh, do we have like... Oh. All right, I'm trying to figure out what we can get away with. if we make a polygon... Wait, no, that's not going to work, actually. I don't think it will, at least. It might work, actually. For the time being... Alright, fuck it, we ball. Let's go with our original plan. Stick to the script. I am regretting sticking to the script. Okay, then maybe just like... Yeah? Alright, maybe we get rid of the cube right here, and we try this again. But with what, though? Unless... Is there like a way to just like grab specific edges? I don't think there is. CSB's 3D functions are useful, but they're not like Blender levels of advanced. You can't like live edit the whatchamacallit, the shapes. Unless, hang on, I have an idea for how to do this. Hang on, I think I just figured out how we can make this happen. All right, first of all, we need to extend this substantially. And now we just need to do the same thing. Maybe raising this up a little. Hang on, let me turn off this thing so I can actually look at my concept art for it. Okay, yeah. A little bit more to the side and then like the... Maybe? I'm not gonna say no. This is it. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. So that this part... There we go. Now I just need to figure out how to make this work when I turn it sideways. Okay, is that kind of following along? Not particularly. What if... Alright, what if we stick it here and then put it further out? Is that a little closer? I think it might be. Alright, I'm gonna call that close enough. Now we just need to duplicate this thing and flip it around. Make sure that these guys are perpendicular. Yeah, that looks perpendicular enough to me. Let it rock. Something's not quite right here. Hang on, let me turn off the sketch layer so that I can get a proper look at this. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, I tilted this one too much, I think. But how's that possible? They were perpendicular. Well, whatever. All's well that ends well. Alright. So my ultra genius idea for how to do this was to basically just have this in the shape that it's supposed to be, but then just cut this in cut the square here in half. And just let it rock from there. I tell you, when we get booleans up in here, it's going to change the game. I could have also tried doing this in Blender, but the thing is, right, I was mentioning before how CSP's what do you call CSP's 3D modeling is surprisingly powerful. And it also has the benefit of being much less of a hassle than, say, making the object in Blender. Because, like this, you don't need to save it as a model. You don't need to save it as anything. You can just kind of like let it rock. Meanwhile, if you put that thing in Blender and try to save it as a model or try to like differentiate it, it already comes like pre-shaded, pre-textured and everything. You don't need to worry about anything other than their composition. Which is why I'm such a fan of this. Okay. So to me, it makes the most sense if the gun is pointing this way, because then it looks the most like it's like the way I actually wanted it to. I'm actually going to make the barrel a little bit longer. There we go. But like inside in the panel itself, it's like pointed like this. Let me take another look at what the sphere looks like. Okay, and it should be pointing out this way, so that means if they approach, it should be through here. Also, I think maybe we put the camera back a little bit. Wait, I can just rotate the thing itself. Why am I losing hair over this? Turn around for me. There we go. That being said, now we have the issue of needing to place it down here. There we go. And take a quick sip of water. Okay. All right, we can get started on this. I'm just trying to figure out how I can reduce the most amount of visual noise. I think this is it. Man, if I had told myself from the past that I'd be making 2 backgrounds in 1 week, I would have kicked my own ass. Oh boy. We're here now though, so too late for regrets. Okay, there we go. Then just kind of tilt it along this. Okay. Shear off this bit back here. We have a single USB-C charging cable right here. And that's to charge the entire gun. You know, you think your phone gets a bad battery mileage. That's nothing on the lightning-based artillery weapon. Right, okay, so that's how we did it. I think there's also an easy way to make sure that we don't see this one every now and again. Yeah, there we go. Okay, grab. I'm gonna grab one of the straight lines that I've already used down here and just use that. Okay, get rid of these lines here. Tilt this guy just right. Copy paste this guy. Do it again. Wait, right, I'm supposed to make this like a circle rather than a hexagon. Alright, if that's the case, I'm going to put it in between the two lines. Then over here. Let's use a circle. Yes? Maybe. This might be the one. Yeah, I think this one's good. We can use this one. Then grab another one of these circles. The phrase "circle," as in saying "circle" with an O in it, is for some reason very stuck in my head a little bit. I don't know. It's not even. I don't think it's that I even find it funny. It is funny, but I don't think that's why it stuck with me so much. The circle and the squaw and the trinkle. Okay, then another one of these. Put it around here. And then again here. Okay. All right, I think I got it. I'm wondering if I should cheat the angle a little bit. And no, if that's okay. I mean, does it look so strange to have the other leg over here? I think it looks a little strange. All right, I'll trust my instincts on this. That being said, it's still a little bit mysterious as to. All right, we'll make the square first. The cuboid, whatever. Again, we have plenty of straight lines, so let's just use those. Rice instincts, that's right. I don't know. I've noticed that a lot of the time when I do things, I judge it on the basis of whether or not it comes natural to me. Not in the sense of like, oh, I can do this instantly, therefore it's good, right? But on like whether or not it feels like, am I comfortable with this? Am I at peace with this? And ever since realizing that, I feel like my quality of life has increased a lot. Always got to do the thing that maintains your peace, I think. Like if you're not at peace, it's one thing to be nervous about a decision, right? But it's also another thing to like be, okay, am I doing this because I want it, or am I doing this because, there's a lot of different reasons to do things, but you need to assess whether or not you're comfortable with it, I think. There's that idea, right, of like leaving your comfort zone. But I think if something doesn't feel altogether natural, you also need to assess whether or not that's a good idea. Like not just not in your nature, but like, is this something that I'm doing of my own accord, or just because I'm kind of going with the flow? Speaking of going with the flow, I found out that apparently very recently there was a baseball game that lasted 100 hours and 1 minute. It was very similar to, it was like this charity game in Misery, where they apparently had like over 60 players, 40 something umpires throughout the whole thing. It ended with a score of 468 to 307. I've mentioned this before. I think we should adopt a lot more things that are streamer culture into mainstream culture. Like we have people who do like like streamathons and subathons and such. I'm wondering why that isn't a thing in like sports. Like obviously it's an entire different goal, right? Like in sports, the idea, that's like a human person working themselves to the bone to move. But if that's the case, they can just switch out players. It's usually like a collaborative effort, team sport. So if you can switch out the players consistently, it should be possible to approximate something like this for a donathon. Yeah, I think the main difference is like the donathon is like the one, usually you're at the donathon because you want to support that one streamer. But it's a much more kind of force of personality thing, I think. That also reminds me of that one webcomic I never ended up reading. I've definitely seen some similar things with like esports things. Oh, yeah, that makes sense actually. Those guys, I'm not surprised that have some overlap with streamer culture. Right, the webcomic I was talking about. There was this one webcomic called like 17776 Football in the Future that I remember a lot of people were huge fans of for a little while, but it like I never ended up reading it. The whole plot of the webcomic is that these satellites in space are having a discussion of their kind of existence. They're like satellites that for some reason gain sentience, and they're kind of observing humanity, who have discovered a secret to immortality. I'm not making this up. This is the plot of the comic. They've discovered a secret to immortality, and now they just spend their entire days playing football. The American variety, not the normal one. And because everybody's immortal and also, kind of unlimited now, these games go on for months on the regular, and they often involve a natural disaster or two kind of interfering in the middle. It was a very interesting comic. I'm sad that I never got the chance to finish it. Also, I don't think you can really call it a comic. It was very similar to Homestuck in the regard that it wasn't so much like when StarCraft 2 was more active. I remember watching a best of 69 show match between two players that they did. So, like, basically, the first player to win 35 games. Sheesh. 35 games. God damn. And StarCraft games aren't like short, are they? Well, I guess if you're whipping the other guy's ass, they can be short, but not generally speaking. That's super fascinating, though. Oh, I see what. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. They can be, but yeah, often be on the longer end. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, what is wrong with this cube? What the? Why is it all? Why is the menu all the way over here? What you doing over there, bro? All right, whatever. There we go. Yeah, it should be kind of smacked up in the middle. I don't know why it's acting like this. Like, theoretically, if I'm making a circle out of the, whatchamacallit, prism, there shouldn't be any issue with putting the square directly on there. I remember a long time ago, when I was a child, I remember it wanted to explore. Well, who am I to deny it? It's Wonderlust. I remember when I was a kid, for some reason, I remember watching this channel on TV that for some reason just streamed repeats of like older. I don't know if it was just like a special that they were doing or something, but I remember they streamed, and this was like in 2008, 2007. For some reason, they were just like playing highlight reels of Unreal Tournament. For the longest time, I never figured out what the deal with that was. Like, I assume it was probably just like some kind of special on Unreal Tournament, but like, I don't know what kind of channel would specialize in like in showing esports stuff like that. Like, I can't think of a conceivable situation where that happens. Also, I think I beefed something here. Let's try this again. Yeah, something's not right here. Oh, wait, I think I know what I did wrong here. All right, we're gonna need to get rid of this second half here. Actually, I'm gonna copy and paste a layer just in case. Then I'm going to mess around with it here. Yeah, I think I know where I went wrong. What I need to do is grab another circle. Why are you white? There we go. Okay, there we go. And then over here. Okay, put this here. Put the... Is that right? Hold on, what if I just grab this top one? What happens then? Okay, same issue. Okay, so this one has a curvature like this. And that means what we want is something closer with a curvature like this. Possibly. No, that can't be right. All right, let's bring back the original layer. I think I'm onto nothing with this scheme of mine. All right, we freehand this. Prisms be damned. May the heavens forgive me for what I'm about to do. All right, that looks all right. That doesn't look. Hang on, let me turn off everything else just in case, just so I can verify whether or not this looks wrong. No, that looks right. And what the hell? I'm not gonna think about it too hard. I feel like if I think about this too hard, I'm gonna give my brain a wedgie. So I'm just not gonna do that. The prism was here to be more of a guideline than anything to begin with. It's fine if I don't follow to the letter. I need to hold that sentiment in my heart because I'm about to mess this up even worse. Well, rather than worse, even more. It'll make it better. It's just going to have elements of the Frankensteinian surgery about it. I saw a Tumblr post not too long back where some dude was showing like this text from his father that his dad was like, this transaction definitely has aspects of the cursed child about it. I haven't been able to get that out of my mind. Mainly because he is so right. Sometimes the transaction well and truly does have aspects of the cursed child about it. Such a good phrase. Really good ass phrase. Okay, there we go. There we go. Maybe I just sand off the edge of this, it'll look no more natural. Right now, it doesn't seem normal. It doesn't seem very. Oh wait, I think I know what might be causing this. What I think it's because I have this turned off. There we go. There we go. Now it's properly behaving, I think. Okay, I think the way to amend the fact that it doesn't look very natural is because it doesn't. It looks too. How do I put this? It doesn't. It looks like it's been. How do I put this like. It gives the impression right now that it's just kind of stuck together. Not it doesn't feel like it's stable, so to speak. We need more horses. I'm kidding. There is no conceivable way in which horses can help in this scenario, I think. I don't know, they might. Listen, you never know when a horse is going to be of help or a hindrance. Even in situations where they seem like they would be. Yeah, it's important to properly balance a big cannon thing. Yeah, your artillery platform needs to have a good, evenly distributed center of balance. Okay, this needs to be smaller as well. Like, it doesn't feel like it would fit right now. Yeah, like this part, the kind of like caboose is fine. Let me turn on the whatchamacallit, the yeah, there we go. Okay. I see. The issue is that I haven't pushed the blocks out far enough, I think. Okay, let me turn this back off. If I were to grab the cannon, push this thing just a little bit further out and further up, and then flip it around like this. Like this thing needs to connect so that its midsection reaches right around here. There we go. And if I kind of slide it outward a little bit too. Yeah, okay. Let's get rid of this one too while we're at it. Okay, move this over here, and then over here. Just need to make sure that they kind of line up properly. I think right now they're about as perpendicular as I need them to be. Maybe a little more. There we go. Actually, this might be a good way to balance it properly. All right, there we go. On God, we are doing some cannon jukes right now. Okay, let's lower these guys and then expand them a little bit. And then what do we do? So we drag them backward. Forward a little bit, actually. Drag them forward, make them taller, drag them back. If I were to, you know, theoretically, maybe wider? No, that doesn't quite work. We're close. I can feel that we're definitely close to what I need to do. The only issue is that it's... Hang on. And like this? No, that's... I need to angle them differently. Just a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of a chicken leg like this, or a chicken foot. Have you guys ever had like chicken heart soup? It's really good. When I was a kid, I thought I would like for sure hate it, but it's very good. I do recommend chicken heart soup. You will most certainly not regret eating chicken heart soup. Okay. The main problem with trying to figure out like the angles and such for some of this stuff is that eventually sometimes when you put it back into place, it doesn't quite line up anymore. This is one of those times. Maybe I just need to put it lower. Hang on. There we go. Now it's close to the ground. If we just grab these guys and then angle them upwards a little more. Forward and up. Maybe a little backwards too. Maybe even further up? Did I somehow rotate these? This is a little trippy. Alright, we'll go with this for the time being. Let's forget the thing. Let's turn away the things that we've done up to this point, and now we can just kind of give it a fresh start. Also, just for my own sake, I think that I'm going to try and angle it in such a way that we would be able to see at least a little bit of the other side here. Okay, it's on the pedestal rather squarely, so we need to... I'm gonna drink some water. That'll help me think. Yeah, for dinner just before stream, I made myself some fried eggs and toast. These days I've been making my fried eggs with a little bit of Valentina and some soy sauce, and they're very tasty. But the problem is that like both of those ingredients have a really high salt content. So afterwards, I'm very thirsty for a long time. I don't know. Taken another way, you could say that it helps with hydration, but I don't think it's. I don't feel like that's right when like the hydration that you take is in order to set off your salt content. Well, water is water. Okay, there we go, right around here. What if I raise these guys up a little bit? Are they still lined up? Not quite. It also looks a little bit like an arrow. A bit. There we go. Dehydrated rice, that's right. Now available in all major grocery chains. Astronaut rice. That reminds me, it's been a while since I played Kerbal Space Program. I wonder if I still have my fine touch at making everything explode. I feel like that's a lot like riding a bicycle. Once you figure it out, it never really goes away. To the detriment of the space program that I'm trying to launch. Okay. Okay, that would mean that the staircase leading up to it is around here. That works, actually. Gonna make a ramp. Maybe another bunch of planks right here. Okay. I'm gonna get so mad later when I erase an important line and I wouldn't have been able to tell. Or maybe I won't, and then I'll just laugh. It looks like I'm building some manner of very complicated weaving pattern. Now, I'm not an archaeological or architectural expert, but I think having plank bridges to literally every location, to deal with any incline or gap in your archaeological dig site might not be the best idea in the world. I don't know, that might be a skill issue. Space, man, the balance on some spacefarers is going to be absolutely built different. Like, once we get people who have like experience living on space stations most of their life, their sense of balance is going to be so whack. It's going to be insane. Like, we're going to be seeing people do like Bruce Lee shit just on the way to school. This is just how video games work, actually. That's true. Yeah. There was this one manga I read a really long time ago now, Kengan Ashura, which I respect immensely. First of all, because like the diversity of martial arts that it showed, and also because it's a manga that made its entire plotline a tournament arc, and which somehow didn't get boring at any point. And I remember one of my favorite dudes featured on there. There were like 18 or 16 different dudes competing in this like big martial arts tournament, right? That's the plot line. Like, it's this big, rich martial arts tournament where a bunch of different fighters from all walks of life are competing. And one of the dudes isn't even like a proper martial artist. He's like this dude who works at a fishing trawler that one of the companies who is participating in the martial arts tournament owns. And his whole deal was that he has this absurd sense of balance from being on boats essentially his entire life. And it's impressive how they made that be a sick as hell superpower in a world where a bunch of different dudes they weren't doing like key blasts and stuff, right? But like they were definitely doing some off the wall shit here and there. And yet that guy still had a super standout moment. Like, the way that that comic introduced it's like entire roster of characters. It's still like a thing that I'll refer to now and again. Really good introduction of like all its different fighters. I remember one of the guys that stood out to me the most was this guy who was working for the in-universe equivalent of Disneyland. And his whole deal was that he was just this massive, lanky teenager. Like, he was like 9 feet tall or something. And his introduction was like he was wearing a mascot costume, and he almost wore it into the fight too. And he was like really in character for the whole thing. It was kind of insane. That reminds me of this other Tumblr post I saw one time where it's like this dude was dreaming that he was participating in like this underground fighting ring. And one of the guys that he fought was like this dude in that tattered ass Mickey Mouse costume that was just called Mick. That's honestly, I do honestly fear that I'll at some point I'll be dragged into an underground fighting tournament, and I'll have to fight some dude who I'm just not prepared to fight. Like, I'll do my best. Every dude thinks that he can win a martial arts tournament if he just has the right amount of luck. Listen, that's like a male trait, is that every guy thinks that he can win a martial arts tournament if he just has the right conditions. But to digress, I don't know. I feel like if it was just like a normal martial arts tournament where like there was just like some dude who practiced MMA or something in there, I think that'd be fine. But if it's like a place where like unhinged dudes are encouraged to participate, I would not leave with my skin alive, with my skin intact. I'm one of those dudes who's always known that if this was a horror movie, I would always die first. I have no doubts in my mind about that. Okay, that's interesting. I'll need to bear this in mind. Check this out. So even though I dragged this like 45 degrees horizontally, it didn't quite line up with the other hexagon. So I think maybe what would be better is if I try to line up the circle with this hexagon back here, and then worry about the one out in the near closer to the front. Oh yeah. Speaking about martial arts stuff, I read about this article that was talking about going monk mode, which is this new kind of, I want to call it like a hybrid of like a focus method and a cleanse, which is an abominable concept to me personally. I'm not a big fan of like cleanses and stuff like that, right? Like, holistic cleanses. The how like some people do like will do like a water cleansing and then just drink a whole bunch of water to supposedly flush out their liver. This is something like that, but it's for mental health. So what you do is that you essentially severely limit your own contact with electronics for a little while, and it's called going monk mode because of the kind of like uh I want to say cloistery nature of it. I think that's the right word, like cloistering. I think cloister just means like a kind of isolated circumstance. I remember the first time I remember back when I was first learning about cells, my science teacher referred to us how they got their names, which is that they were named after these small rooms where monks used to hang out. And I'm like, they used to put monks in cells? All I can think of that name was just some dramatic anime thing with someone shouting, "I'm going monk mode!" God. Instead of their hair growing out and becoming blonde like in Dragon Ball, it just becomes a perfect tonsure. They become completely bald rather than gain hair. That's what happened to Saitama, I think, from One Punch Man. Man, what the hell is happening in One Punch Man nowadays? Anyway, I thought the webcomic ended a long time ago, but I still see new chapters of the manga dropping here and there. Has anybody? What is One up to? Does anybody know? Like, I know he finished Mob Psycho 100, and I know he did a lot for what do you call One Punch Man. But I don't think that's his baby anymore, right? Like that's not what he's currently working on. Does anybody know what One is doing? Hang on, let me look this up. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so he's currently working on a comic called Versus, which is published by Kodansha. All right. He's just out there. He could be any one of us. He could be you. He could be me. He could even be published by Kodansha, yeah. He also apparently did a comic based on Reagan, which is not surprising. But yeah, no. He's actually got a bunch more other than One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100, which is not surprising at all. God, I hope he's doing well. That guy deserves the world for just making Mob Psycho 100. And somehow managing to make a con man into a genuine role model somehow. I'm still not sure how he pulled that off. Like he one day one just decided, hey, I'm gonna make you care about this one dude who's like a weird scumbag who lies to people but actually solves their problem. And we were like, yes, sir, right away, sir. As many pathetic men as you want, sir. I'm not gonna pretend like I was immune to it. I also really like Reagan. He is a very well written character. I am not immune to the funny con man. Okay, then over here. Hmm. Oh, check this out. Even though I tilted it 45 degrees, it's still going upward. Hmm. I've got an idea now, actually, for how I can make sure that I'm doing this properly. I'm just gonna do this manually. Alright, one to the left, one up, 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 one to the left, one up. I haven't copied and pasted this, so this is actually a useless exercise. Let's try that again. Alright, and now that it's sufficiently far away, we should be able to move it without repercussion, I don't think. Yeah, no, this should land somewhere around here rather than where I put it originally. Which is a little weird. Not sure why it's doing that. It's probably because it's not a perfect 45-degree angle. Like, it seems pretty 45-degree-ish, but it's not quite 45 degrees. That's a bit of a bother. Well, I'll roll with it. But yeah. Okay, so if going monk mode is to kind of let go of your devices and kind of take a break from all that, what other modes exist in this world? I know beast mode. Beast mode, everybody knows beast mode, baby. But what other modes are there possible? Is there like okay, monk warrior mode? I'm thinking of terms of like RPG classes. Is there a warrior mode? Is there a wizard mode? There's definitely got to be a wizard mode. Oh my god, there's no way there's not a wizard mode. I mean, in this day and age, there must be such a thing as wizard mode. No way there isn't. Hmm. Monkey mode, I remember also being a thing. There's monkey mode. There's beast mode. What other modes could there be? We've discussed wizard mode. Rogue mode? Rogue mode seems like it'd be fun. Warlock mode sounds rather nefarious. I would like to see somebody go warlock mode. Sorcerer mode, I feel, would be just wizard mode with fewer steps. I feel like it wouldn't be like true wizard mode. Sorcerer mode is maybe like a step down from wizard mode. It's like a light pop off compared to the true world ending magics of wizard mode. I'm guessing. Okay, so if monk mode involves taking a break from your electronics, and wizard mode would likely involve maybe not a break from electronics, but maybe a sort of electronic mysticism instead. Maybe it's kind of like taking a minute to understand like the power you wield given the current day electronics, right? I feel like that might be what wizard mode is about. The essence of wizard mode, if you will. Not just basking in the kind of all-powerful magics at your disposal, but also kind of acknowledging the uniqueness of it. I don't know. That doesn't sound very wizardy, though. I feel like wizards are in most cases just kind of dickish. So it's hard to say for sure. I don't know. I feel like if wizards were real, one of them would definitely have tried to get me into NFTs. I don't know. Maybe it's because like magic generally now is associated with like being kind of a con man itself. Maybe that's why I'm associating it with like fraud. I mean, I don't know. You look at a wizard and you tell me that guy pays taxes. There's something going on with that dude. Keep your eye on him. I guess going warrior mode would probably involve destroying at least a few of your electronics, huh? As a random guess. This doesn't feel right. Alright, perhaps I am beginning to regret not actually spending time to try and make this in a model. Okay, put this here. I remember that a long time ago. Okay, so I read that apparently Krispy Kreme is putting up for sale its shares in this cookie bakery business that they acquired a long time ago called Insomnia Cookies. I remember actually seeing a news coverage of Insomnia Cookies a while back. I don't like a really, really long time ago. I remember seeing them on the news for some reason. I don't know. I feel like if you're getting like late night food, you want something that's properly filling. I feel like, well, no, that's kind of a bias I have for all foods, is the thing. If I'm eating something, I want to feel full after eating it. I don't think cookies give you that kind of satiety. I'm very biased towards savory foods. If I eat something sweet, I don't feel like I get full. I need to eat something very savory to feel full. You know, I'm very much one of those dudes who's like, all right, a meal must be main dish, dessert, etc. There's times where I have cheated a little bit, so to speak, and eaten just sweet things for dinner, but even then I feel very unfulfilled. All right. I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway here and just not worry about anything related to perspective or anything here. Fuck it, we ball, fuck it, we ball, fuck it, we ball, fuck it, we ball. Go! Alright, there we go. Okay, this part looks right. Maybe what I can do is create a second one of these right somewhere around here. Copy this. Put it across the length of the circle. And have it almost looks like a little bottle shaker or something. Copy and paste this. Over here. Copy and paste this. Okay, what if we move this up a little? There we go. Okay, is this anything? I think this might be something. Hang on. There we go. Then just move this down here. Actually, we need to expand this a little bit. And just grab this. There we go. Put this back here. Tilt this just around. All right, we need to put this around here, and then we just need to make everything else match it. Okay, there we go. Poquito a poquito. The good news is that I do distinctly remember either just reusing this one shot of it, or... Well, if I did it once, I can do it again, right? Also, I do think I need to increase the base on this thing, just so that it looks a little bit more stable. Alrighty. Yeah, now see, this is starting to look like an actual construction. Then like this. Then like this. Okay. Grab this. Flip it around. Flip this just so. Perfect. Not quite where I wanted it to go, but that's fine. Got to be a little flexible with your plans. Then I think one last thing to do would probably be, I am wondering, oh, actually, hang on. Okay, slightly regretting not keeping an intact circle right here. Little bit of regret on that, but that's fine. Who needs circles? We've got lines. Those are basically the same thing. Actually, from an from like a very specific point of view, they really are the same thing. God, I remember one time somebody pointed out that a straw has like a straw might have like up to like 4 holes in it or something. Like there was like this debate on that I read on how many holes a straw actually had. And I remember it pissing me off really badly for some reason. Okay. Making this smaller so it can fit with this. There we go. We need to make this circle smaller. There we go. Okay. Then actually it might even need to be even smaller than that. Because it's a little close to the ground right now. Okay, place that around there. And there we go. Okay, so then what we're going to need to do is grab this line here, put it here. Grab another one of these, put this here. Okay, we should be good now. It really is quite a beautiful thing where it just kind of, when it just all kind of falls together. At that point, I can let all my grudges for everything that's happened so far fall to the side. Or it doesn't work out and I end up seethingly mad. But it worked out this time, so I can be happy. Okay, let's see here. one. Okay, we're just going to need to duplicate these a bunch. Hopefully it won't be like with the scaffolding and I'll be able to keep track of them this time. I really gotta stop saying that. I'm jinxing myself every single time I bring it up. That scaffolding has like fucking SCP properties now. It's like Beetlejuice. Or Bloody Mary. Also, I do actually need to adjust the placement of these because they're not actually going to fit with the new size of the brick. Just get rid of these guys up top. Okay, another one to the side here. Bring this one up top. Then bring this one to the side. There we go. Okay. And then we kind of like narrow it into pins at the end here with a little ball. Okay, there we go. Okay. What other stories have I read today? Oh, yeah. All right, so have you guys ever heard of the Waffle House Index? It's this idea that if the restaurant chain, the Waffle House, is open, generally you can assume things are going to be all right. But if it's closed, then you can assume things are going to go quite awry because they're very famous for their open 24/7 policy, right? Waffle House, I mean. So if you have like a partial menu on Waffle House, or if like they're closed, that's usually a sign that you need to start being worried. I thought that was an interesting thing. I also saw that there was this thing called the Big Mac Index, which rather than being related to weather events and natural disasters, was more so related to the consumer buying power. Which is to say, they're tracking like inflation and such using the price of a Big Mac. I wonder what other kind of mundane things are out there. I learned of a new one today, as a matter of fact. There was this article I read that apparently there's like a correlation between whether your mall has a cheesecake factory and if it's doing well. Like they found that malls which have a cheesecake factory open are more likely to be on time for their debts and payments compared to malls which don't. Which is really funny. I've been to the Cheesecake Factory one time. I have frequented that establishment exactly once. I mean, the cheesecake was obviously very good, but I remember the portions being just massive. Like even more so than most American portions. Like they were some large helpings. I went there with my family and it was just kind of it was almost like a culture shock moment. Like you think that after so many years of being exposed to Western culture, you stop being surprised, and then they whip out this brand new thing to hit you with. It's twisted. Okay, there we go. Okay, put this around here. I think something that I can do to improve this thing is to also have it like, well, I need to add the scaffolding, obviously, but I also need to add a little bit more weathering to it. A few more mechanical imperfections here and there. Like right now, it looks a little too perfect. It doesn't have the kind of rough feel that technology normally has. To be fair, this is still in like the Linework phase, and that's all I need to finish the first panel. Here's an idea for how we can bolt this thing on here. Little thingies like this. This is what I'm talking about, like having more details here and there. Boom, boom, boom. I need to be very careful because otherwise these will just look like delicious buns inside of a delicious hot cross buns. Fun fact: I've never actually seen a hot cross bun in the wild, so to speak. I remember hearing about them for the first time from my biology professor because there was like this one, he was British, and he apparently there's this one British school children's song that's like hot cross buns, hot cross buns. It's like the equivalent of that one duck lemonade stand song in the US, as far as I understood it. There might have been some more cultural nuance that I missed. But yeah, that's what I remember it from. That he was this guy. That for some reason he mentioned that there was like this nursery rhyme called like hot cross buns. A little bit of a tongue twister, ain't it? They look pretty good though. Let me pull up a picture. Like they're just normal buns with icing on them. At least I think that's icing. It might be mayonnaise. Again, I am utterly unfamiliar with these things. Could be mayonnaise, could be hollandaise. I don't know. I'm not British. Let's see. All-timer video though, as an intro to British culture, is the what do you call that one dude who the doner kebab, not doner kebab, the whatchamacallit, Wigan kebab. That's the one. The Wigan kebab video is an all-timer comedy skit to me. It's a completely serious and sincere video, but it's just such a it's I feel like it needs to be preserved as a cultural artifact. Bro literally ate a hot potato thing like it was the most normal thing in the world as a sandwich filling. I will never forget that. Something about the perspective on this doesn't feel right. There we go. That's slightly better. Okay, then what we might do here, right here, is we might actually... Oh, Okay, but how do we introduce this? Oh, hang on, I've got an idea. Okay, bring this up. Bring this like this. Further along. No. Something about this doesn't feel like a good idea. If I'm being fully honest. Alright, hang on. I think I know what's messing me up about this. It's because this should be a flat plane like this. Oh, I see where I went wrong now. Alright, this is a quick fix then. Just gotta kind of do it like this. Then pull this over here. That works. Okay, then we just need to extend this part over here. Expand this part here. Okay. I think I solved the problem? Did I? No, I did, okay. I think the only thing left to do might actually be to do it like... to add a little line here. Just to show... this is hurting my head. Oh well, let it rock. Actually, we don't even need the circle here anymore, do we? Just gotta expand this part here. Okay, there we go. All right. It's messy. There's no but after that sentence. It's just a little messy, but we got there. We did it. We balled so hard we made a functioning artillery weapon. Okay, there we go. Let me pop my wrist a little bit here. Now all we need to do is add some more details to it and make it look a little bit more grungy. This morning I was looking at older radio and TV models. In particular, I found this one Hitachi portable TV that looks really interesting. Hang on. Hitachi portable TV. Yeah, this 1980 portable television from Hitachi. I don't know. I really like it when this kind of era where things weren't quite advanced enough, but they were also advancing very quickly. So some dude was like, okay, we need to have like something interesting. What can we do? Well, we can make a television really, really small and turn it into a speaker." And the other guy was like, "Genius! Put that into production immediately." Like it all just had such unique shapes that are super interesting. Like check out this guy as well. It's like a tube. Well, not really. It's like an L shape. But I can't get enough of it. Retro consumer electronics are really good. I'm a big fan. I don't think I could conceivably own them or operate them, but I like how they look, and sometimes that is enough. Actually, I remember when I went to my grandmother's house a couple times. She did have a small portable television player that doubled as a radio, which is super interesting. It probably doesn't work anymore, given it's been literal decades since I've last seen the object in question. I don't know. At some point, I'll probably have to go back to Ecuador for like logistical reasons, but I don't know how much it'll have changed in my absence. Probably quite a bit, but I don't imagine very much. One thing's for sure, though, I am going to need to take some intensive Spanish lessons right before I go so I don't embarrass myself in public. My Spanish is already kind of flagging as it is. I've been trying to occasionally do those kind of like word a day sites in Spanish to learn some fresh vocab. It's actually been working pretty well. But the problem is that because Latin American Spanish varies by region, like even within one country, they can have multiple phrases and ways of saying things. I do fear that my efforts will eventually be in vain. But having a little bit more knowledge never hurts. There's a lot of different ways you can look at it. I feel like I'm learning something, so I might as well continue. Okay, grab this, grab this, grab this. All right. Yeah, let me straighten this out a little bit too. Okay, let's get another one of these going. Okay, that'll do. Then maybe what we can do right here. Let me get, hang on, what's this little bit of dirt here? There we go. All right, the idea is to do something similar to the hot cross buns up here, but for this kind of circular thing. All right, so that'll go a little bit like... Actually, you know what might look better? Just having this line here, first of all. That already makes it look a little bit nicer. Okay, lower that. I thought I copied and pasted, evidently I didn't. Drag this up. Oh, yeah, I heard that apparently Spotify is making a feature where you can make playlists that are shared between people. Like different people can add different things to the playlist, which has potential. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like a fun idea, but it has some major trolling potential. Like you let one of your younger siblings choose some of the music for the playlist, and eventually you're listening to the freaking... Nah, like somebody just puts J-Eazy on there. It's a good way to introduce some chaos. I can't wait to see what happens with that. Seems like it might also be interesting for from a community standpoint, right? Like a small community-driven playlist. Okay, there we go. Duplicate this. Extend these upwards. Let me expand them as well. Okay, right here. Yeah, this will do. Okay, kind of like... This'll do. And then just a little bit right over here. Okay, there we go. And then kind of like this. Something about this doesn't seem right. Well, I'll keep drawing. I'll figure it out or I won't. Okay. Maybe smooth this out a little bit. There we go. All right, so what I thought would be a good idea right here, if I thin this line out a little bit. There we go. Okay. No, there's something wrong here. Too many balls. Also, I need to make some of these bigger as I get closer to the camera. I think that's what's bugging me. Make this one smaller too. Because why not? Okay. I'm just gonna make another one of these and then push it forward. Make it smaller. Okay. We made it too small. We need to make it just a touch bigger. Ahí va. Okay. I'm kind of hesitating pulling the trigger on adding more detail to the side here, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. What's drawings? Hey, hi Quispy. I'm drawing this. It's supposed to be like an electric weapon, but it's very busted up. And I need to add detail and a little bit of grunge here and there. Like, you know, maybe right here I can make like a little crack in the metal. Yeah, like maybe this one will have a gash in there for some reason. This one can have like a broken bulb up here. But yeah, how's your evening been going, Chrissy? Holding up all right? Okay, may have this one have like scorch marks here and there. Just woke up a while to go to class. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Did you learn something cool and interesting and new, or just kind of business as usual? I remember there are definitely days when I went to class that I felt like I'd learned more than other days. Because of the scorch marks on this one almost looks like a little monk. Bro went to Supercuts and got his cut all messed all the way up. Maybe we can have this one have like a patch on it. Like maybe they made an attempt to fix it. It's a little bit nicer. Right now they're just going over homework. Dude, those days can get very slow. Like when it's just very recently. There's been a big assignment, and they want everybody in the class to go. Those can take a while to get through. Or if it's a end of term presentation, right? Ooh, what if actually there's like some kind of like metallic growth on this one? There we go. You worked your machine too hard, and now it's growing magic crystals and nonsense. Okay, maybe we can have a small screen right here. There we go. Okay, then... Actually, I just had an interesting idea. Do we need... Hang on. What if we kind of made the stand for this look a little bit different? Like, instead of having it be like a solid metal sheet, what if we made it into like almost like a sphinx leg shape? That might be an interesting idea. Let me cook with that a little bit. It'll also make it a little bit easier to see the other leg too. Okay, there we go. And then around here, I think? That might work. Okay. Then after that, we can grab one of these and use that for the actual cannon part. No, that's not right. Is this like part of a project or just experimenting it? I've been making a comic with a buddy of mine, and yeah, it's been going well. This is the page that I was supposed to be working on, but I need this giant gun here, kind of like in this little corner here, and it's going to be like a big element going forward. So I figured I might as well bite the bullet and get it done now. But yes, it's part of a bigger project. Let's see, okay, grab this, put this. We can get rid of these lines here. All right, let me crack my wrist a little bit. Okay. I really need to learn to start keeping track of the circles that I make. Like I've been having a fine time just like keeping track of the curves, but I need to. Wait, I might actually have something like that. Hang on, didn't I have like a copy of this? But no complete circles. All right, we let it rock. That's it. No more Mr. Rice Guy. I've been unriced? Oh. Oh no. Oh my god. Ah! Okay. Don't ever unrice me again. Oh my god. I've just seen something no man should ever see. Don't do that to me again. All right? Is the rice like my organs? More like my entire existence. No promises. That could be problematic. Well, I guess I'll deal with it when the time comes. I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of holding all the cards here. I don't know what kind of wicked magic you just used to unrice me, but don't. I guess the ball's in your court. Alright, maybe if we rotate this just a little bit more. Alright. This one might be easier to deal with actually, hang on. Okay, drag this guy over here. All right, still missing some stuff. Still missing, still missing. I feel like the closer I get, the further away I get as well. Maybe I need to tilt it again? Maybe I've made it too wide. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, this is close enough. Okay. We're actually going to need a couple of these, so let's start putting them into position. It feels a little bit like I'm playing with that. Have you guys ever seen those like IQ test certain donut towers that they use for monkeys? I think it's called like a Lucas's tower. Yeah, this thing. So essentially, the idea is that you need to move the donuts on this peg to this other peg over here, without making one of the smaller donuts, one of the bigger donuts, stack on top of one of the smaller donuts. It can be done very easily. I remember I used to play around with one of these back in the day, but it's a little. It reminds me a little bit of that. I remember there was this one time I bought, my parents bought me one of those puzzle trinkets, right? Like I saw one of those like puzzle trinkets that are supposed to be like difficult to solve, and yeah, it turns out that it was very difficult to solve, and my baby brain couldn't figure it out. Eventually, I think I figured out how to brute force it, which isn't really solving it, but it. I mean, I guess it kind of is. It depends on your, how do you say, perspective of that. If brute force can solve a problem, then who's to say it's not a solution? Yeah, it's close enough. It's not the intended solution, certainly, but it's a solution. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think I've been thinking about this whole affair too hard. I just need to play it a little bit looser. Everything else will just fall into place after that. That's how complicated technical structures work, right? You just kind of like freeball it and then it eventually works out, right? That's how the economy seems to work, at least. Hey yo. I used to think that when adult, like you know how in some television shows to show that a crowd of people are like quote unquote mature, one of them will say like the economy and everybody will burst out into laughter. I used to think that wasn't real, but no, it really is just like that. That's the current political situation. God. I remember there was this one interview they did with Nicolas Cage where the interviewer was saying something like, "I hear that nowadays you're getting paid like $7 million per movie. Do those numbers make you chuckle?" And he's like, "I don't chuckle. I have respect for the dollar." What the fuck kind of answer is that? Like somehow it sounds very wise, but it doesn't sound like it's saying anything at all. Like, I feel like I understand, but I also don't. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't reached the right kind of enlightenment. I don't know what kind of enlightenment you can derive from being Nicolas Cage. I imagine he has access to secrets that some of us don't understand. I don't know. The expression on that guy's face just tells me he's seen things. Okay. Let's put a few more of these here and there. Sprinkle them around. Put this here. Make sure that all of these reach the base. There we go. Now we just need to grab the other side of this. Perfect. We can just copy and paste a circle structure here too. Drag this further up. Now, according to my calculations, these should have aligned perfectly, so this means that this one's out of alignment a little bit. There we go. I say according to my calculations as if any of this was planned. As if this isn't just one big improv show. Like, there is a plan. There was obviously a plan, but we are very clearly far away from where that was. There we go. Okay, the one in the middle can keep going. The rest of these need to get bent out of shape. Okay, remove this, remove this. Oh yeah, Butter, Crispy, I got a question for you. So, earlier we were discussing this new trend, right? It's called going monk mode. The idea is that you cut down on devices a little bit, and it's essentially kind of like a mental health thing, right? Where you take a quick break from your devices or from the kind of variety of things on your devices to focus up and just like let your brain do its thing. My question is, what do you guys think like a wizard mode would entail? If there's monk mode, is there such a thing as a wizard mode, and what would that look like? Because to my best estimate, wizard mode would be almost like an arcane thing where you take a moment to appreciate the things that you can do with your technology. Eating mushrooms, that's much better than my thing. Can we prevent? Yeah, forget what I just said. Eating mushrooms, I think, is fully going wizard mode. You don't think about it very often, but wizards and mushrooms actually share a lot of physiological similarities. I will not elaborate on this, by the way. I don't know. I feel like wizards are a sort of lichen. Certainly, they're not living creatures in the conventional sense. I guess I don't go into wizard mode often enough to know. Don't eat mushrooms that much. Saute those suckers with a little bit of pepper and parsley. You'll be eating them soon enough. That's how I began liking mushrooms. I ate them sautéed and with a little bit of parsley. Very good. Any old mushrooms you can do this with. Okay, grab this one too. We can push this a little bit further in. Do redwood forests have mushrooms? Should go out foraging while at school. Mushroom on pizza. I don't know. Foraging without a lot of prior experience is generally not a great idea, I think. Definitely something that should have some professional guidance, I believe. Mushroom on pizza is really good, though. That is true. I mean, a can of mushrooms, what does that run you, like $3 max if you're getting the nice ones? You can just get canned mushrooms. They still work when you saute them. You don't need to get all fancy and go foraging. They're mushrooms. They are by definition not that complicated. They're very unserious organisms. I mean, yeah, we don't know what part they occupy a weird third arm of the animal kingdom. The shorter walk into the woods than to a grocery store. Well, I guess that's fair, but you still shouldn't forage without any proper guidance. Especially mushrooms. Like, listen, berries? Berries are also not a good idea to forage. Leaves and herbs are also not a good idea to forage without guidance. And I don't know. I guess you could try, like, listen, our ancestors did not trial and error themselves into a 50% mortality rate just so we could go around gallivanting, trying out whatever we think will work. All right, we need to respect their sacrifices a little bit. At least somebody's ancestors did. That was probably a really long time ago, broadly speaking. Like a really, really long time ago. Like we still haven't figured out fire yet. Kind of long time ago. No, that's exactly what they sacrificed for. So we could just kind of like let it rock while we forage? That's kind of funny. That's actually kind of a really funny interpretation. You know, there are some people who are like, actually, if you're ever feeling guilty, like, there's this idea that like your ancestors were these really tough, rugged peoples who had to fight every day of their lives for their continued existence, right? They would, there's this interpretation that seeing the kind of creature comforts that are afforded to us by contemporary living, they would be very proud of us. They would be hyping us up. They would be gassing us up in the afterlife. They'd be like, check out our aunt descendant dummy. He's got an HDTV. How about that shit, huh? but I guess that's a funnier school of thought actually, that they're like going into the afterlife going like, why the fuck aren't you foraging for weird and poisonous mushrooms, bro? We are not gonna make the winter like this. What are you doing? A supermarket? What the fuck is a supermarket? Do you think we know what a supermarket is? No. Listen, here's what you do. All right, you're gonna go into the forest. You're gonna walk back, facing backwards into the forest, so you can sneak up on see any predators sneaking up on you. You're going to eat the first mushroom you see, and if you die, you die. You got that? And I'm like, yes, sir, right away, sir. God. In any case, you should probably try to keep on living. So make sure you get at least a little bit of guidance on your foraging. All right, if you're going to try that out as a hobby. Hunting is kind of like the less dangerous variant of foraging because, broadly speaking, unless you're in like the Amazon or something, if it runs on four legs and is warm-blooded, you probably don't need that much brain power to figure out how to prepare it to eat. I don't know. That's an entirely different can of worms, though. I guess the end goal of this was to get your hands on some mushrooms, though, wasn't it? Hunting can't really help you with that unless you're willing to be very patient. Not that you can hunt mushrooms, but you know, just the normal circle of life kind of deal, where eventually the things that you hunt will be turned into mushrooms, because they are not very picky eaters. And you know, if you make mushrooms out of something, there is an odd, not guaranteed, but odd chance that the thing that supplied those mushrooms with the nutrients will come back and haunt you as a living creature once again given flesh. So do watch out for that. Bear that in mind. It's weird to think that a mushroom can hold a grudge. It's actually weird to think that mushrooms can have any emotions, but apparently there's all kinds of activity going on there. Or so I hear. I know this one dude made music based on the patterns and waves inside of a mushroom, whatchamacallit, inside of a mycelium network. So it's not crazy to think that they have complex emotions and feelings that we just can't really perceive. I know there's this one fish that I saw one time that, you know, like you think of like have you ever seen like a manta ray at like at like an aquarium, and it seems like weirdly playful? Like that's an actual recorded phenomenon. Like there's this one aquarium that has like a touch tank, which is a kind of enclosure where you can touch the fish that are inside of it. And the manta rays inside of that thing are super friendly, and they'll actually get offended if you don't want to play with them. Which is funny enough on its own, but like, imagine you're like a manta ray beefing with you. Not even like a big one, just a very tiny one. Like you're 5 times the size of this thing as a baby. It's kind of like it's kind of like the same scenario if like a mouse or if a mosquito is beefing with you. You kind of hold all the cards in this scenario. I don't know. I think the only animal I've ever held a grudge for was this mouse that was in my university apartment. Like my in my university dorm, there was this mouse, and that thing was quite the bold little rascal. Like one time, I found it swimming inside of our toilet. What the fuck was up with that? How did it get in there? To this day, I don't know how that thing did that, but well, I'm pretty sure it's not bothering anybody now. Mice don't live for much longer than a couple of years, I don't think. How long do mice live for in the wild? Assuming they don't get eaten by like a snake or something. House mouse. How long do mice live? In the wild, the average lifespan of a mouse tends to be about 5 or 6 months. If living in ideal conditions, they can live for approximately 2 years. Alright, yeah, no, that thing is 2019, 2020, 20... Yeah, no, that thing's gone. That thing had business, that creature had business in heaven. It's moved on to the next world without us. Apparently mice really are just a big problem in like the municipality where I live. It's very common to see people whinging about mice. So I'm glad I don't really have that problem anymore. Okay, let me play around a little bit with the line thickness here and there. Okay, let me go back to the model that I made for the gun thing and just check something real quick. There we go. Where's the other cube? Okay, it's just shy of the other cube. I'm not gonna draw the other leg of this thing. I don't think. Yeah, no. That's like right there. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like this. That being said, I am going to add a little bit extra here and there. Oh, I missed quite a big spot here. I don't know how that happened. I must have used that other line for something. How strange. Maybe just a little bit. If I just kind of line it up with the other, with the line here. No, I don't think that's right. Actually, come to think of it, why can't I just make this a flat platform right here? I'm overthinking this. Yeah, just make this a flat platform and make it look very stable. All right, perfect. We can just make this a touch bigger. Or a touch smaller, actually. Slightly bigger, but not by that much. All right, we're just going to copy and paste this into page 2 here. Shrink it way, way down. put it right over here. Thin it the lines out quite a bit. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna have the little gun here poking out the side. Alright, I'm gonna need to do some movement here. I will have the gun part right over here. Move this part. And then for the rest of this, we're actually going to do a little bit of a sneaky thing. The perspective on these aren't quite lined up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just warp the lines a bit. Yeah, I don't think no amount of line warping is going to fix that. I should just make the platform inside here bigger. That'll solve some of my problems too, I imagine. Or just make more of them, but different problems. Listen, you know that phrase, modern problems require modern solutions? Not strictly speaking correct. Modern problems, or problems in general, just require any old solution that you can come up with. Oops, deselect stuff. Listen, if it works, it works. The solution does not need to be modern. The solution does not need to be elegant. The solution doesn't even necessarily have to be a solution. It can just be making another more immediately solvable problem. That's the entire plotline of Paranoia Agent, I think. In any case, what you need to take away from the presentation is this. As long as it gets solved at the end of the day, nobody will ask about your methods. They'll just remember that you solved it. Pragmatism for the win. All right, and then just whoomp, whoomp. All right. Okay, get rid of this, get rid of that. See, the good thing as well about making this grid style floor is that I don't need to worry about the lines on the inside. Like once I have, if I just erase the lines around the perimeter, I'll be able to have the lines on the inside figured out. I don't know where this line came from. That one's a surprise. Nope, bring that back. I really need to finish watching Paranoia Agent one of these days. It's one of those bits of like Satoshi Kon's work that I haven't really dug into deeply yet. I remember one time I made the time to. I have points. Points for what? How many points? Give me an exact number. How many points do you have? I knew it. All right. Let me find... Okay, let me pull up the timer here. Alright, 5 minutes, huh? 5 minutes horse stance. Alright. Let me pull up the browser source so y'all can see this too. ¿Dónde está el browser? Here we go. All right. Let's do this thing. Okay. So we have the platform up here. We could just make the oxidation right here. Okay, erase this, erase that. All right, let me move this line right here a little to the side so it's not quite smushed up like that. I need to erase this part, these parts here too. Let me thicken this line too. I'm too high. Let me get lower. There we go. Okay. Then after that... Okay, this is the main line here. Sometimes it feels like I'm playing like Murder Detective for my own line art. Okay, get rid of this bunch right here. Goodbye, Nightmare Platform. How are you doing? How much longer do we have? About 3 minutes? All right. You know, I hear that apparently you can improve your brain plasticity by brushing your teeth and like doing it on one leg at the same time. Like just doing very routine things, but in non-routine ways. I think that might actually apply to this too. I'm betting that by doing this, I'm increasing my brain plasticity in ways that are completely unprecedented by science. Yeah, forget limiting the number of apps you access. This is a true monk mode. Okay, erase these bits here. Okay. Then, what else is there left to do? Okay, yeah. Just add this. You don't have a brain, it's all rice. Damn, you're right. Now what am I gonna do? I'm ruined. Alright, forget it. I'm just gonna cast an ominous shadow back there and have it hidden. Oh, God. I really gotta figure out perspective one of these days. How are we doing for the timer? A minute and 20 seconds, huh? Alright, we'll just get started on panel 2. I think the sketch layer was somewhere down here. Yeah, there we go. Thankfully, the people I can freehand well enough. Although the lines are a little shaky. For what I hope are obvious reasons. I think we should have only a few seconds left now. 40 seconds left on the clock. All right. Okay. Maybe a little wider. Maybe the pen a little thinner too. Why not? Oh, we're done. Okay. Out of horse stance. Okay. Now I get my chair back. Hooray. Okay, I'm gonna finish the character here and I'm gonna call it a night, I think. We've been going for a minute. You know, a lot of people wonder like what the quote unquote normal amount of time to stream is. You know, some people are definitely like endurance folks, right? Like there are people who will stream for 5 or 6 hours and be like, yeah, no, that's a normal amount of time. And then there's people like me who will stream for 2 hours and be like, yeah, that should do it for today. I guess it's definitely a little bit of a balance, right? I find that after around 2 hours, I run out of things to talk about, or I just stop having the kind of energy that I have near the beginning. So it's easier for me to just call it then and end on a high note. Yeah. It's all strategy. Now, if I could only figure it out... Okay, the curve of the helmet is fine. The little cap flap thing is a little bit high, though. Move this a little bit further in. There we go. Okay, and then just go like this. The mouth might be a little bit too far forward is the problem now. If I widen the snout, that should fix it pretty well. Okay, there we go. Okay. Just gotta slowly chew through it. Yeah, every single hour that I spend on the background is like 3 minutes in drawing a character. I need to get better. I need to get more cracked backgrounds. I need to go monk mode on the backgrounds. I guess the main thing would be figuring out just how to get more comfortable with a space of everything, because I obviously know how to like make a composition, right? Like this panel here is more or less correct, but I feel like I am very uncomfortable with drawing objects in a space. So I often rely a little bit too much on maybe the CSP tools. You know, advice that I saw the other day is that if you don't know how to do something, if you have to do something but you're scared about it, you just got to do it scared. I think that's what I got to do here. I gotta accept that it's gonna look like booty ass for like 2 or 3 tries, and then it's gonna look nice. It'll be worth it. I can endure any pain as long as it has meaning. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let me actually expand this arm a little bit. Okay, thumb here. 1, 2, 3 little fingers. Then over here. Alrighty. What I could have tried doing as well is just making backgrounds. How do I put this? A little while back, I made a thumbnail for one of my gaming streams for a game called Signalis, where I made it look like I was in a pile of on top of like a big pile of bodies, right? And I had no idea how to draw that. Like one of my thoughts was to maybe use hair fell in my mouth. Ugh. I don't even have hair. Whose was that? Anyway, one of my ideas was to maybe stack up a bunch of the 3D CSP 3D models on top of each other to get that done. But I didn't have any idea how I could make that look good, right? So what I ended up doing is that I found this one Versace photo shoot that had a bunch of people kind of like strung on top of each other. Let me pull it up. Yeah, this is the one. So I used this as a reference for what that would look like. And, obviously it was the hair from the glasses you're wearing. Oh my god, you're right. That's totally what it is. But yeah, so I basically just put a 3D model on top of one of these bozos, and then I used that as a reference, and it worked. So maybe what I need to do is I need to find a picture from the perspective that I'm thinking of, and then replace whatever's in the picture with the thing that I want. It might be difficult to find something that has the elements that I want, but it shouldn't be impossible by any means. Yeah, that's one of the benefits of not having eyes or hair, is that I never get like an eyelash in there, right? I've never had that happen to me. Although it does make it sometimes I do wear sunglasses for the bit, and that's a whole process and a half. It involves a lot of double-sided tape, and I'm gonna call it bag conditioning. Believe it or not, I can flex the muscles in my bag. Like I can flex the fibers in my bag to create expressions That's how I move my mouth. My You can't see 3D objects in my imagination. I can see 3D objects in my imagination, but having like an entire 3D landscape in there is something I still don't have any accomplishments with. Like I can see 3D, I can picture 3D objects in my mind, but I don't think I can. The perspective in there is not quite right. Like if you look at this, right, the perspective is kind of okay, but like this line here should actually be closer to around here rather than to where it actually is. Not to mention any of what's going on with the actual weapon itself, right? So it's an issue. Or rather, it's a limitation of that power. I also have problems with like some of the more advanced poses, right? Or some of the more out there ones. Like again, the pile of bodies, for example. I could get there someday though. There must be a way to do so. The purpose of cultivating a skill is to make it less difficult, or at the very least make the output nicer. The output's about as nice as it's going to get, so it must be the other one left for me in terms of accomplishments. Okay, there we go. There we go. Right, the boot. Okay, like there we go. Now we're in business. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna have a fun conversation with the custodian of the building because I need to figure out if I'm allowed to request repair services from the manufacturer of the oven and the unit for myself, or if I have to do that through the maintenance portal for the building. Because I'm not gonna lie, I really miss baking cookies and literally everything else. I haven't had an oven for like months. That's no way for a man to live. Actually, gender aside, that's no way for anyone to live. There we go. I can't make chicken fingers. I can't make frozen pizza. I can't make regular pizza. Actually, I can make chicken fingers in my air fryer. They come out very tasty, but the point stands. I can't roast vegetables inside of there anymore. Again, I have to use the air fryer for that. It's a really good thing I invested in an air fryer so long ago. I've actually been thinking of getting a bigger one. No cake. Surprisingly, I'm not that much of a cake guy. The one cake that I do make regularly is this one honey cake called castella, and that's more of that is kind of like a cake, but it's mostly eggs by volume. Alright, how do I make one of these guys look up? I have these little dudes with pompadour style helmets running around here. And I need to figure out what it looks like when they look up. No oven? No oven. No bread, no cake. No. What else do you make in an oven? No roast? Okay, there we go. No baked sweets? Aw, did somebody steal your sweet roll? But yes, no baked sweets. I remember somebody once showed me a screen cap of this one TikTok that said like 1990, where sweets are baked, not bought. The hell they were. My man, do you know how much food coloring we were putting into crap those days? Oh my god. It's getting to the point where like, you know, we used to see a lot of nostalgia for a lot of different time periods. And I think because we were too young to understand to like be there, we didn't really see how unrealistic a lot of that was. But now we're seeing like people be nostalgic for like the early 2000s and late 1990s. And now we're old enough to remember those. So we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like earlier I was showing off those like portable TVs and such. I didn't mention that they probably sucked to operate and to use. Right? They probably were not very good consumer products. And while I recognize that, I do still acknowledge that they were kind of cool. That's actually a much better look. This kind of like eyebrow look, like what? Huh? Who is this? Portable TV. Yeah, hang on. I think I still have it open somewhere here. This is a Hitachi 1980 portable television. Use the little dials there to change the channels and everything, and it has a speaker on the side, and it looks cool as hell. But it probably wasn't very fun to watch. Ew. Hey. All right. I know I was talking. I was ragging on it a little bit, but I like the way this thing looks. It has such a cool shape. Like this is the kind of thing that we thought the future would look like. Now it's all just very, very thin objects that are easily breakable. Granted, those things were probably easily breakable too, but I don't know. They had some degree of style at least. Now everything's just kind of sleek. All right, no, their helmet wouldn't point this way. I think the best thing about these helmets is that I can just kind of point them in the direction of what I want them to look at. Maybe a little bit longer here so we can show that he's turned a little more. There we go. Okay, line down the middle, line over here. What should this guy be doing with his hand? May he just kind of like off to the side? I kind of gave this guy yaoi shoulders by accident, so I need to amend that quickly. Okay, then over here. All right, we can have their shoes peeking out from under here. All right, I think that'll do it for today. Good grief. All right, good work this week, everyone. I'm going to end it here. You guys have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. Later. Bye.